Let's see if this works. I'm gonna give it a little try. I think I need to put it in the. Okay.
Traveling to the Nepal Shrine.
Honor is all I have left.
Only absolute.
Welcome to Hollywood.
Honor is all I have left.
It's going the wrong way. I need that to go the other way, not that way.
Now arriving at the
As
Eos
good
Well.
honor is all I have left.
Okay, that's good, but I need to multiply by less. So 0.1 might work
5,
properly.
4, 3, 2, 1. Capture the enemy flag.
Sharpen yourselves for battle.
Traveling to the Nepal Shrine.
Honor is all I have left.
A little bit less.
Now arriving at the Nepal village.
Honor is all I have left.
Now entering the temple of
I do not. Honor is all I have left.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Five, four, three, two, one. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
This will determine everything. You can't hide.
Welcome to
A
Jack.
less honorable honor is all I have left. With each step, my burden lightens.
I bear my burdens as best I can.
By the dragon.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
This will determine everything.
Traveling to Hanamura.
Honor is all I have left.
arriving at Oasis City
Honor
Center.
is all I have left.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Capture the enemy flag.
This will determine everything.
Now arriving at the Shambhala Mystery.
Honor is all I have left.
Now arriving at Lijiang Tower.
Honor is all I have left.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
That's quite good, actually.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Not perfect, but it's
One.
almost perfect.
Round 1. Capture the
Very
objective.
close.
Ready yourself.
Very close.
The objective is now active.
Might need. Yeah. Might need to do a different set of weights for this
Now arriving
specifically.
at Lijiang Tower.
Honor is all I have left.
Still not enough.
Entering Lijiang Control Center.
Honor is all I have left.
It's actually very good. So 0.033. That's funny. This is supposed to be like a structural component of this building, yet my arrows fly straight through.
Marked by the dragon.
I'll find them. Scanning.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Yeah, it seems this is too small. This amount here. Simply too small. We could try. Well, yeah, it's not even on both sides, so that's a problem.
Marked by the dragon.
Shouldn't use the same one actually. I should be able to multiply by a certain amount. Should be somewhat reliable.
find them. Scanning. You can't hide. I'll find them. Scanning.
I think I hit it. I think it went straight through the mountain in the background. That's how far that arrow went. I think I hit that. I don't think it went to the arrow, the mountain in the background, but yeah, I think I hit that. I think it was a perfect shot.
You can't hide.
Blocked by the dragon.
I need to change it. Somehow 0.33 does not work. What does it need to be then? Like 0.2? Let's see. Would that change the center though? If I lowered the number, would that change the center? Obviously, would it be off then? If I set it no. And if I lowered the number, would that make it off? Yeah, it would, because the only reason it's in the center is because of that number being set how it is. It's This isn't going to work. This is not going to work. This is not going to work. My body's processing some food. That's the reason it's making sounds. Also, I may need to go use the bathroom soon. I may. Not yet, but I may. Soon. I'm gonna have to do this a different way, I think. I think I'm just gonna have to do this a different way because this is getting stupid. Oh, this is getting stupid. This is getting stupid. This is getting stupid. This is getting stupid. This is getting very stupid. Very, very, very stupid. I wish I could make this work, dude. I want to make this work so bad. But the best way might simply be the simplest way. With like a variable that someone can toggle off and on as soon as they click a button or something like that. But no, I don't think I want to do that. It's very finicky. It's not really the way that's best. It's definitely I mean, but the thing is, if I want to do it like that, then what's the reason to not simply turn off the menu? There's no real reason. You should simply turn off the menu then. There's no point. There's no point. There's no point. Why not simply turn off the menu then? I guess I could simply do it like a very simple way, like string value, and just be okay with it, because it's never gonna really be perfect, but at least it's gonna be decent. At least it's gonna give me somewhat of a decent way to do it, but yeah, it's really complicated. It really is complicated. There's a few factors to consider, but the fact is the game doesn't really have a built-in way to do this, and so I'm basically trying to make my own way. Oh my. So the actual best way I have to do it is either to simply keep it like so and simply accept that it's never going to be absolutely perfect, or to keep trying and try to make something better. Because I'm simply trying to understand that, yeah, I don't think this is going to work. I think I have to accept the fact that it's never going to really be perfect. And be okay with it. I could also go back to that too. This offset thing is not going to work. I guess I'm trying to think. What way would it work? What way would it work? Would it work with if I made new menu weights for it? Would it work then? Yeah, probably, but I would have to make it do the same thing for the numbers or whatever. Yeah, it's getting a bit stupid. It's getting a bit stupid. I don't think, I mean, yeah, I think if I did it like that and tried to center it basically, I could basically make it so that both side and front positions, if both sides are factored in, and then it averages them out to then give me the center. It averages them, I average those two, and then I use another weight system to find the center of it somehow. And I add values to that to basically find the center to then, yeah, I mean, that would, I think, work. I think so. Yeah, that. Yeah, I mean, that might work. Yeah, it might work. I don't want to do it that way though, because that way is very expensive for the game. It's not very expensive, I mean, but it's stupid. It's a lot of pieces into the options, and I don't want to have to add all those pieces unless it's absolutely needed. So that's the reason I'm gonna try to think of something else. I want to make a better way to do this than this, because there has to be a better way. I know there's string length. I know that is an option, but the fact is string length is never really going to be correct. because it never really factors in what the character width is. So I can never really get that perfect. I could have a number that's decent, but it would never really be perfect. I could definitely put in a number, I would say probably maybe 0.33. Maybe that would be it, 0.33. It could be, it's possible. 0.333. It's possible. But that number wouldn't actually be very accurate, I don't think. I'll try it though. I'll try it quickly. Let's put this in test 2 for now. And I'm going to load my other preset. My chiller kill one. And we're going to turn off. We're going to straight turn off the menu weights. Actually, no, we won't. We'll keep it. The menu weights are good for now. What I need to change is this stuff, using them. Multiply the string length. I want this to work so bad. I really do, like it, because if this works, I can make this so much more simple. It would simply work like this. It would work exactly like this. Let's do option 4 actually, because that's the one I'm testing. So let's remove all of this. Let's set this to AA again. Let's see how close I can get this. Let's see how close I can get it. With this strategy, with the most simple way. 3. Yeah, I don't think this is ever going to be really perfect, because to make it perfect, you'd have to, like I said, you have to make both
Now entering the
weights,
match
and even then,
Honor is all I have left.
even then it might not be perfect. Like, I might still have the same problems, really. I guess it would okay, so that other method would make the circle a certain size. The actual circle would be a certain size, and then I would have to get the center done properly using the same type of calculation to adjust the center. But the fact is, it would have to adjust understanding that not every, I guess it would be okay because I could get it done for every single character though, so that's the reason it could work. I can get the center done for every single character. So it might work. It might work. I can get it done. I think so. So that's the reason I saved it, but let's try this for now. Okay, interesting. What is this, too small of a number? Is that what it is? Okay, well, not too small of a number, but I mean too small of a text. This might be too small of a text. Let's try 4 A's instead.
Now traveling to Paris.
Honor is all I have
That's
left.
better, but it's still not great. So A would probably need 0.5 on it. Yeah, but this is the same stuff I already have, basically, but just worse. Because it's not just straight using the number. Unless...
Arriving at Antarctic Peninsula.
No. 100%, this is basically the same stuff.
I have left.
Snow is so beautiful
Still way too
until it's
small.
stepped upon.
I'm guessing this needs like a 1 then. But 1's gonna make everything else way too big.
4, 3, 2,
It's not even close.
Round 1. Capture the objective.
Sharpen yourselves for battle.
Let's do 4.
Welcome to Blizzard World.
Honor is all I have left. I'll find them.
So yeah, I'm correct here. It's either gonna be too big or too small. Guess. Well, it will be, I guess, symmetrical because all it does is count the exact number. So it should be somewhat symmetrical. Yeah, but that is true still, because sometimes it still will be too much. So what if I do string length? What does that actually do if I do string length? Just straight string length. Option. That's gonna make it way too much, I know it will. The only reason it's somewhat working now, or the only reason it looks like it, the only reason it is less than it needs to be now is because of the fact that I have too low of a number, too low of characters. I wish I could do this in a better way, though, I really do. Oh, come on. I wish. Blizzard would make a better way to do this, because this is definitely not correct. Yeah, see, it's decent, but let's see, is it reliable? Would it actually work if I increased it? It might, but I don't know if it would work for every piece of, every single
Welcome to
text.
Blizzard World.
Honor is all I have left.
Like I said, it's not much better than what I already have, but I guess it's much less processing. So it does somewhat work for this, but yeah, it'd be much less than... Yeah, I think this is what I'll do, because it's very close. It's not too far off. Let's try W. It's going to be very consistent, I know that, and it's not going to need me to do a bunch of weights or anything. It's simply going to do it automatically for me. And I think it's the best option.
Is all I have left.
You see, it's a bit less. It's way less, actually. Not a bit less. It's a way less. And that's going to make it... That's going to be even further once I add more text and everything. They use W's and everything. But... yeah, it's not too bad, I guess. But I still don't think that... Yeah, there still will be problems to this. There absolutely will. Because of, like I said, there will be some that are simply too much. Not too much, but that are not that wide. Like some text that is simply not that wide. Like I's and J's or any small text that doesn't have much width. And that's a problem. That's a problem for it. And that's the reason I have it the way I have it on my other system. But the problem with that is also the fact that it's not actually consistent. I would have to add characters to a variable, and I'd have to make it basically work perfectly for all of those characters. And obviously, as you see, it requires testing of things and making the things accurate and everything. It requires a lot of work, which this does not. This requires only the string length thing, and then that's it. I simply do whatever I want to do for it, and it does it. Not perfectly though, but it does it. And it's not too far off. It still gives me something that somewhat works and somewhat does its job. But, like I said, I don't know if... I mean, yeah, I said it could be perfect. It could be perfect if I simply did it like that. But I'm trying to think if it's worth it. If it's worth it, if it would even be perfect. I mean, it would potentially be... Potentially, but like I said, I don't know 100% because I don't know every little detail about it. I'm trying to think of every little detail, but I'm trying to think if it would actually be perfect. It should be, though. It should be. There's a lot of things that would fix. Making a simple like center from each one. From each option, I would have to change where the center is at. Basically. So I would have the weights. I could get the size of the circle done properly, but the fact is I couldn't get the actual center done properly, and that's what I would need to do to make it work perfectly. I would have to get the center done, the center of that circle, where it's at. And that would require a whole bunch of weights for it too, because I would have to wait. I would have to have weights for every single character for that too. Which, I mean, I'm trying to think if it's worth it, if it actually would work, if it... I mean, I guess I should try it at least, see if it works. No, that still doesn't do what I said before, with the fact of every character would need to be valued in. Not every single one, but a lot of the characters would need to be added in. I would have to be sure it all works perfectly all the time for every single player, because I'm gonna have text in the menu that is dependent on the player. It sets it to whatever the player's name is, so the player's names can be very different. Obviously, there's a lot of different player names. Like I said, I don't know if this is worth it. Like, I don't know if this is actually going to be a huge thing that people will want, and if it'll be that important from the fact of you simply need to look at the menu and basically select it from this. Like, you could simply select it by looking near it instead of not looking too far away from it, which would be understandable too. It's not perfect. I wish I could make it perfect, but the fact is I don't think this game has, like ChatGPT said, they don't have a width to each option, so you can't actually know the exact width, and you also can't really do it properly because of the way the text moves on your screen. It actually turns as you turn like that, so it's not great. And I think for simplicity and for keeping things efficient, I might simply do it like this. I might simply keep it like this, because at this point it's getting a bit much.
I'll find them.
I mean, yeah, it seems like I could do that and it would be perfect, but it's so weird because, I mean, yeah, it might work, And it might be perfect, but like I said, it's not gonna be perfect for those texts, those names of the players. So it's like I need something really consistent here. I need something really consistent, really reliable, simply something that actually gives me a result. And that it may not be perfect, but it actually works in a lot of ways because you can still use the menu. Not simply that it gives you that perfect result. I mean, I want it to be perfect, but unfortunately, the game is just, it's simply not designed properly. It doesn't have a way to select things perfectly, to make it so that the horizontal width is exactly where you want it to be. So it automatically deselects it when you go off, and that's it. It works perfectly, but it doesn't have that. It doesn't simply have that. And while I do have it for every single one, so everything will be dynamically adjusted. So it will all be using its own string length, and because of that, it'll actually dynamically adjust. It won't simply be one specific one, so that's very useful still. But the problem is, it still won't be accurate, and it might still be a bit off for some. And that could be higher than, or that could be greater than or less than what it needs to be, and that's the problem. It could be greater than or less than what it needs to be. You know what I could do? I think I will do that, actually. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, let's do it like that. That's the best way to do it. Somewhat, at least. Not 100%, because, like I said, I still would need to change the exact sides of it to make it perfect. But I'm gonna remove the automatic way to do it, and I'm simply gonna make it so that for the player names and things like that, well, it has to be in the selector though. Wait. Okay, I see. So I'll just set it to a number. I see. And then for that, I would set it to the string length, because obviously it needs to be decently... Okay, I get it. So what I could do here is actually make it so that each one is separately set, so I can set each option to it exactly. It still won't be perfect though, because like I said, there's a little bit of offset to the text depending on it, but the fact is it will be very, very near, and it will be looking very good because I can simply set it to the exact text that is on the screen. And it actually, now that I think about it, that won't work either, because the fact is there's changing text. The text changes depending on yeah, it changes depending on what's in it. So if I add something to a text, I would have to update that number that I set. So that wouldn't really work perfectly either. So yeah, it's a little bit tough, definitely. That would be decent for static text, but it wouldn't actually do much for it. Wouldn't be perfect for even static text, and it wouldn't be perfect even more so for dynamic text that changes its text in ways. And like, for example, a number, if a number was being chased, if a number was changing dynamically, not dynamically, but changing, if it was changing at all, then obviously that means the entire the text is going to change, and that means the hitbox of it needs to change too. And I guess that's the same for this, actually, now that I think about it. if I were to do it like this, it would set the hitbox properly the first time. Like, for example, if I get this perfect, it'll set the hitbox properly the first time, but then after that, it will never actually set the hitbox perfectly if the text is changing. So I think really the only real way is to do it the string length way. At this point, there is really no other way. I can make it, like I said, I can make it very close, but it's never really going to be perfect. It's never really going to give me the result that it should give me. Because there's simply so many things to consider, like dynamically changing text. The fact that the texts are offset. I would have to change the center of the calculation of the circle. I would have to change that. There's so many stupid things that I shouldn't need to adjust and I shouldn't need to do for this. I understand that the fact of the hitbox is like the actual circle hitbox. I understand that, and I like how I've made it. But the fact is, I don't understand the fact that it cannot be accurate to what the actual text is, how wide it actually is. I don't like that at all. I'm not okay with that. That's a problem for Workshop in general. The Workshop simply has a problem with that. It doesn't have the actual things necessary to calculate this. Let me do a quick look and actually see. Yeah, I think I'm gonna simplify this. I think I'm simply gonna say, yeah, let's do it with string length. That's what I think I'm gonna do, because at this point, I think it's worth it. Even though it's not gonna be accurate, like I said, it's simply gonna be worth it to keep things simple. Keep things simple and also keep things understandable. It's still gonna work. People are still gonna be able to use the menu and everything, but it's simply not going to be that nice. It's not gonna be an insanely nice, and it's gonna be off a little bit, but people still will be able to use the menu properly and get things done. And it will feel very, very fluent. Definitely, you'll still be able to use it very fluently. It's simply that things won't be perfectly accurate as soon as you leave the text. I'm going to try to make it so that it's not too far. I want it to be too little. If it's too far, that could be annoying, because then when you're still on the text, I mean when you're outside of the text, when you're on actually nothing, you're actually still selecting the text, and that's a problem, because I want it to stop selecting the text at least when you're inside of the text, when you're still inside of the text, because that means you're still technically inside of the text, and so you're probably not going to be expecting it to work, or I mean not work, but you're not going to be expecting it to be off. And so when it is, it simply is okay, because you can easily move it to where you need it to be to select it. But when you try to go off of it, it makes it easier. It makes it much more easier to understand that when you're still looking at the text, you're technically not off of it. It might deselect, but the fact is you're still not off of the text, so people shouldn't be assuming that. And people won't be assuming that. They'll be thinking about getting their cursor off the text, and then once it's off the text, then they're going to start clicking. So even if it deactivates while it's on the text still, that's actually more okay than it still be active while it's off of the text, and it's on basically nothing, and it's still active. That's going to be much more hurtful to players than it being on the text deactivated. So I need to make it basically a little bit smaller than what it would actually be. That's what I'm going to be doing now. It's going to be making it smaller, if anything. If anything, I need to make it smaller. That's the fact. What I need to do is I need to try it for all of these. So let's go ahead and do this. I want to make all of these work with the same stuff. It upsets me that I cannot get this perfect, and that this is so complicated, and there's so many nuances to this, and it's simply so stupid to make it work. Like it's quite dumb to make this work. To actually make it perfect, it's simply quite stupid to try to make this perfect, to try to get the center of the circle down and everything, and all this nonsense. I mean, yeah, of course there is like a factor of I'm trying to make something that is a bit more complicated, and it's not something that this game was built for you to do, but not this game, but this workshop. They didn't make a specific way for you to make a list of like a normal list like they have in their game, in their menus and everything. They didn't design this for that. At least in the way that I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to do it with the aim, so it's not that simple. They haven't designed a way to do this with your aim of your character. They have not done that, but the thing I'm talking about is the actual hitbox for the width. I'm not talking about that. I understand that they haven't designed it for the characters and being able to select stuff in the game and make a perfect menu and everything, but the fact is, I understand that. I already understand that. I already have something that's perfect, basically, from using the vertical angle from direction. That works basically perfectly. I don't need to worry about that at all. But the problem is that they don't have a way for me to know the exact position that it needs to cut off at to get the text to make it so that when I leave the text, when I stop looking at the text, the actual text, it turns off the option and it makes it so that I can't use that option until I come back to it. That's the problem, is that they don't have something specifically for that. But they should, because that's incredibly important to have, to know exactly when that text is outside of my reticle. And I would say all they would really need to do, now that I think about it, is they would somehow make it so that I could define a point, like I would define a text that I would need to check, and I could basically say, am I looking at this text? Like, that's what they should make. They should make it so I can basically do that from here, from a compare here, and have an option, have some values here that say, am I looking at this text? And say and that be the perfect way to do it. No questions, no vertical angles from direction, none of that nonsense. It's, am I looking at this text? And if that is not true, then it turns off the option, it makes it 0. Or if it's true, it makes it that option. And that's the best way to do it. That would be the perfect way to do it. And they could simply make it so that people can simply make a menu without needing to actually make everything for them. And that would be perfect, because I could easily set this up properly, and it would look even simpler than this, actually. But yeah, it's not like that. And that's the reason I even have a vertical angle from direction, is because there's no way to actually know when you're looking at that text other than checking for these types of things here. These types of complicated things. And that's the reason I need this number here, this less than equal than 1. Less than equal to 1. I need to actually set the size. That's the size of the text. So I need to actually change that number there, simply because I don't actually know the size unless I understand. It doesn't actually do it for me. There's no actual thing to do it for me. And that's the problem. There should be things to do it for me for the vertical angle and for the horizontal. There should be for both. It should be for both. It should simply be if I'm looking at the text. Even if the text is extremely long, it should be that if I am looking at that text, even if I'm touching the actual edge of that text, I should be able to set that in the conditions here. But unfortunately, there is no way to do that currently. There is no easy way to do that, and I basically have to make something incredibly stupid to make this work, and that's the problem currently, is I have to make it incredibly stupid with like the centers of things, making a circle and all this stuff. I mean, I'm still going to make the circle, and I'm still going to do the vertical angle from direction. I'm still going to do all that, but the problem is it's incredibly stupid because I already have the positions for my text done. The positions for my text are absolutely perfect. I'm very satisfied by them. But now I'm making a selector, but the problem is there's no way to actually know if I'm looking at that text. I'm trying to compensate for that, and I have with the vertical angle, and it's perfect. I'm good with the vertical angle, but the problem is the stupid distance between of the horizontal is incredibly difficult to get perfect and incredibly overcomplicated. And I wish they could simply make a better way to do this. And I feel that they could without making it so complicated like this. Like I'm trying to do so many different things simply to find the width of that text and get it to stop when I go outside of it. I feel like they could easily make this so much simpler with a little bit of work, a little bit of things behind the scenes and behind the actual game, and with the actual code of this game, they could easily make this work. I really do feel that. And they wouldn't need to do much. They really wouldn't need to do an insane amount of work for this. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem they have anything for this. I mean, let's see, the string, character and string. The character found ability icon, distance between index of string character, input binding string. I know what all this is. None of this is anything. String contains, yeah, there's nothing. String length, string replace, that's all nothing. String split. Nothing. Yeah, this is nothing. That doesn't actually tell me the width of anything, so the fact is it doesn't really do anything. I really hope they're gonna make something like this, because I'm gonna make it so that it's string length, but it's never gonna be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. It's always going to have flaws. It'll work consistently, but it won't be perfect. And even if like I said, even if I make it so that it's very complicated and I do it the way I was doing it before, it may still never be perfect. I mean, there's so many things to consider with all the, like I said, with all the individual characters. I mean, I could make it perfect for every character that I have currently in there, but then I still have to make it so that the characters that are for the players in the game are correct and it's all working perfectly and everything. And that's not even considering the fact that the text will change. Like if something needs to be toggled on and off, I will still need to do the calculation again and everything. It simply gets very complicated and very difficult for the game to process, and very not efficient. It's not very efficient. Very expensive. I mean, that's the word I was looking for. It gets very expensive. And that's the problem. So, yeah, I'm simply going to do it this way. I have to. I want to do it the best way. I want to do it the most perfect way, but unfortunately, I need this to be consistent, and I also need it to be basically what the game intends you to use. I mean, this is the... I mean, I guess the only other option I can think about is if maybe there is a way to do it, but this is not the perfect way. Like, string length maybe could work, but I would need some other way to basically determine it. Determine what that string length actually goes to and what it actually uses to determine it. But there isn't really another way. I mean, this is distance between, and this is the best way to do it. Otherwise, I would have to use the horizontal angle or whatever, or I'd have to do something else, but it wouldn't really work well. It simply wouldn't. So unless I could do it where it's distance between, but then maybe do a different selector, but no, that wouldn't be perfect either. I mean, I think what I could do, actually, now that I think about it, I could make it so... I mean, could I make it so that it's just aligned perfectly all the time, even though it's not 100 meters away? Maybe. I mean, the 100 meters away thing is really only for that. It doesn't need to be on the selector, too. The selector doesn't need it. So maybe I could remove it, actually. If I could remove the 100 meters away thing and put it closer, then maybe I could... the thing is, if I did that, if I made it closer, then I would have to multiply it by a number, because it would be way further away. I mean, it would be way closer, and that means the number that it would give me for the string length would be way too much. So I'd have to multiply it by less, basically, by half or whatever. Which is okay. Definitely, that's okay. Yeah, I want to do it string length. I think the string length is the best way. It would simplify things so much. I really don't want to keep it like this. I don't want to make it so complicated. It gets really dumb. Like, it just really does get stupid to think about. It gets dumb to think about, and not only to think about, but to actually make it work properly. It just gets stupid. I'm not doing it. It has to go. I wish I could make it perfect, but hey, it is what it is. We remove it. I wish. I wish. It's not worth it, though. It's not worth it. All that stuff, not worth it. I can remove menu characters, too. Effect IDs. Oh, yeah, that stuff I made. Very nice. So let's do this. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. of stuff. Okay. Okay, we're getting somewhere. We're making progress because I'm simply making progress mentally. What? Was it simply longer? I think so. Yeah, it is longer. Oh, so let me do this thing with these selectors. I don't need to multiply by 100. I simply don't. What I need to do is instead make it so that I don't need to multiply by 100. I just need to make it perfect. 10 times less, basically. So it's 10 currently. 10 times less is 1. So that's what I'll do. Is that all correct? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if that's correct. Okay, I don't need to go that far down. That's perfect. That's exactly what I need. So now, if I set this to a 1 instead, and I need this to be a 1, instead of 100, it needs to be a 1. Times 1, so it's just straight in front of you. That should work. Let's see if that works. Yeah, let me actually make it correct for each one. That should be working. We will see. We will see. So now I don't need to multiply this by 100. But I will need to multiply this by a little bit less. Probably by half. No, that's what I meant. That's not what I meant to do. Yeah, my brain's not working perfectly, but it is working perfectly for getting this correct, because I know I'm thinking about the correct things. I simply know I am. It makes perfect sense. So yeah, there it is. We remove the times 100 from it. So now it does not use times 100 because it doesn't need to. It does not. Well, actually, we actually will need, I think sometimes, because we will need at least some way to know how far it is. Huh. I mean, I guess so. Maybe I am overthinking this. Maybe I actually don't need to do this, because I think I will still need to actually make some type of, like, it'll still somewhat need to be further away, because otherwise the calculation simply doesn't work, I don't think. Because it uses distance between. It uses distance between. Distance between. I mean, how am I supposed to calculate something that's not further away? Okay, fine, we'll keep it. Fine, we'll keep it. We'll keep it then. We'll keep it then. I was trying to do something simply to make it a little bit nicer, maybe make it a little bit cleaner. But yeah, it makes sense. We keep it. Let me keep it. You have to keep it. Okay. Whatever. Let's try to do this string length stuff. It's less than or equal to the string length of the variable option 2. The thing is, though, I would need to set it like, yeah, I could do it like that. I could do it to where it's like technically closer to the player. But the fact is, it would still need to have a number on it. It would still need to be 1 at least for the distance between. And I would have to set it also on that too. I would have to set it on the selector too. So it wouldn't, like, it doesn't really do much. I would still have a times 100. I would still have a times 1 at least. And so why not simply keep it the same number for all of them, which is times 100 for the other one too. So let's simply keep it the same. That's the best option. I'll come back to this at some point, though. I will. What I'll do is I'll keep it like this for now, but I will come back to this. I hope that Blizzard will make this perfect. It's not perfect yet. I know it isn't, and I really would like them to implement something better than this. Because, yeah, I really don't like how it currently is. It's just not correct. It's simply not correct. It's a mess. Yeah, it's messy to do it like this. I mean, to do it like before. To do it like how I was doing it before, it's just a mess. It doesn't really make it work. It simply makes it try to work. That's all it does. Like, that's all I was doing there. I was trying to make it work, and I was doing it in the correct way and everything, trying to measure it properly, but the problem is it still doesn't work perfectly. It still doesn't make it perfect. It still doesn't do things as I want them to be, but yeah, it's okay. I'm simply gonna make it happen. Like this. Like this, and also when Blizzard finally releases a better method to do this, then I will implement it. For now, though, this will have to do. Yeah, I think this will be good. I think this will work. For now. Let's try it.
Now arriving at Lijiang.
Honor is all I have left.
Okay, as you can see, it's a little bit too far. So I'm actually gonna lower it a little bit. That's what I'm gonna do, because if it's a little bit too far, like I said, I need to actually make it so that it's not too far. I need to at least make it so that it's not too far. Maybe I should keep it, because it might make some too low. But W is a very high, no, I mean, it's a very high character, so you know what, I might be able to make it, lower and be okay with it. But obviously I would need to multiply every single one by a certain amount. Multiply the string length. Player variable. Option 1. Let's do like 0.8. That might be enough. Also, I did have a bit of a different meal today. And you know what? I'm feeling good. I am feeling good. I've stopped eating fruits for now. I'm not going to be eating any fruits. I did sleep recently too, so that was something definitely important. May have helped my body process some things. Because that's what my body seems to be liking to do after I eat something potentially wrong. Well, eat something wrong, I mean, is it likes to go to sleep. And yeah, it helps significantly after I awaken. But yes, I am going to be not eating fruits because the pesticides are still on them. It's simply that they're natural pesticides, and that's the problem I had before. That's the problem I had before too, and I simply accepted that it should be okay, and it should be still. It should be better. Well, not should be better, but hopefully it's better. And I tried it for a bit, and I don't know if it is. And also, I'm gonna be doing a few more things to help me feel better, to help me be more consistent. Yeah, a few more things. But for now, I'm feeling good. And I had some chicken nuggets and some cookies today. 2 cookies. So the same type of stuff. And I had shrimp at the start of the day. I had shrimp at the start of the day. Then a bit later, 10 chicken nuggets, and then 2 cookies. That's it. And I'm feeling good. At least currently, of course, because currently I'm actually making progress. So that's very nice. And I also feel good from having to make progress mentally with some things I was not okay with the fact of me not feeling correct. I needed to actually make that more understandable. I need to try some things, and I am going to try some things. That's exactly what I'm doing now. I'm trying some things. If you never try anything, then you're never gonna be better. I'm gonna get it done though. I'm gonna get things correct mentally and physically with the fact of, well, both. They're both the same thing, really. Mentally is also physically. But I'm gonna get it correct with this fruit thing, and I'm gonna get things correct with the logic of it. That's what I'm talking about, the logic. I'm gonna get the logic correct. I'm gonna make that correct. I'm not letting this simply be how it is and let it keep affecting me in a negative way, or simply not understanding it in a full way. I mean, I guess actually I could do it like that. That would technically be a little bit of a better way to do it, to make it a little bit more personalized. But I would have to make, yeah, I would have to make it for each individual one, which is okay. I could definitely do that. It would simply be a number. That would be a good compensation, basically, for it. Because it would give me a good base. I could also simply make it a flat number that I decide. Instead of string length, just make it a flat number. No subtraction, none of that nonsense. Just make it a flat number that I decide in the actual option part. But I guess the problem is I want it to be easy. I want it to be understandable, and I don't have to make that. Let's try like this first. Let's try like this, and then we'll see. And let's think about that. But yeah, I could do it like that. But I guess the thing is, it wouldn't work. Like, it still wouldn't work for the text for the players. I would have to still make some type of logic for that. But yeah, so I think I want to do it like this. I think this is still best. Yeah, this is still best. I'm still gonna do it like this. It makes no sense for the players, and also the dynamically changing text and all that. All of it. There's a nice update coming to World of Tanks very soon. Got some stuff coming. Actually, not a nice update. I say a nice update. Well, it is nice. It is nice, but it's not like a big improvement. It's simply like a content thing, giving players a bit of things to do. But that's literally it. It doesn't actually have anything crazy good, like for the actual gameplay. For the actual gameplay, it doesn't have anything crazy good. But it'll be quite nice, definitely. It'll be nice. It'll be nice, 100%, and I'll enjoy it. I'll play it and I'll enjoy it. I'll enjoy a few things about it. Not everything, definitely not, because of how the game is and how it sucks in countless different ways, but I will enjoy a few things. Okay, that's a little bit less now. Let's try it. Like I said, it's not going to work for W's, but the fact is W's is a very bad example of what it will actually be like, so... See, it's not too bad. Let's try it. Yeah, it's not too bad. See, it's less. Oof. See that one, though? That's so far, though. That's so far. Let's make it point... Let's make it 0.7. I think 0.7 could be it. I think 0.7 could be the final number I do. Because I think that'll give that one a little bit more being correct, and also it'll actually make it so that I did have a thought, actually. Have a good thought to maybe make it... I know this number, you might not like it, but 666. Because it's double 0.33, so it's a little bit more than... It's the second third, basically. It's the second third, so it's... Yeah, it's 2/3. That's what it is. So let's try that. I want to try that. I do want to try that. Even though the numbers, yeah, of course, it's the devil number, but... I still want to try it. Doesn't matter, I want to try it. I mean, it's not important. I need to make this perfect. I don't care about whatever nonsense. Like, whatever you associate this number to. But the fact is, yeah, I know I could make it 0.7 and it would be close. But I think this could be perfect. Like, it would make it less on a few of the other ones. It would make it much less. But it might be like in the middle, basically. That's what I'm thinking. It might be in the middle of the range, basically. That's what I'm thinking. That's the reason I want to try it first. It might be in the middle of the range. I don't know if it makes some type of sense. It might. But that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it could be in the middle of the range, and it could make some sense. So yeah, it's going to be a bit less now on the hitboxes, but it should help significantly on the
Honor is all
other
I
one.
have
So let's
left.
see. Yeah, see, it's a bit less on the hitbox now. Yeah, much less on these hitboxes. Much less. But this one, see that? Now it's actually decently accurate.
Objective unlocks in 30 seconds.
So I could actually increase it a bit. We can go 0.7. Yeah, let's go 0.7. Let's go 0.7. Let's use whatever the numbers here are. Yeah, it's of course it's close, but let's do 0.7. It's close, and it could be accurate. I could be correct on that. That actually is the middle range of the range. That could be the actual middle of the range, but the fact is, let's try it like this, and let's see how good it is. See if it starts messing up. Well, let's simply do it like this. And if I see some text being a little bit too far, I'll lower it again, maybe come back down to this number. If I see it being too much, I'll probably lower it back down to this, because it does make some sense that it could be simply that this needs to be 2/3. And that number is 666. 2/3. Well, it's 0.66 actually. It's not 666. It's 0.666. That's the actual 2/3. Okay, so we got 0.7 in. I would say that should be it.
Traveling to
I'm going to go relax after this.
Honor is all I have left.
Yeah, see, that's like almost perfect for this one. So at least for that range, so for the range of these HUD texts here, for these texts I mean, my number is perfect, basically. 0.7 is exactly the number I need for those texts. But like I said, I don't know if it'll be, for other texts, it'll be too much or too little. Well, if it's too little, like I said, it's okay. So if it's too much, that's a problem. I need to get that a little bit more correct. But yeah, this is okay for now. I'm okay with this. I think I'm gonna be okay with it. And yeah, I think that's good enough for now. I think I'm done for now on this. We made it much simpler than it was. Much simpler. Way simpler. Way simpler. We're not using any nonsense with the fact of testing for menu weight, for the weights, I mean, of the each character, or each individual character. Yeah, each character, that's what I meant to say. Each character. I'm not testing for each character to see how big or small it is. To see how big it is. And I'm not doing any of that. We're simply multiplying by 0.7 to make it a bit smaller, to try to make things at least inside of the text. At least. And so that basically you shouldn't be expecting to... Of course, that goes both ways. You shouldn't be expecting to be outside of the option if you're looking at if you're still looking at the text, but you shouldn't be expecting... I mean, you should be expecting to use the option when you're inside of the text. So it goes both ways. With the fact of using the option, people will still maybe find that a bit annoying that you can't use it at the exact point at the end. But the fact is, it's not that big of an importance when you're trying to leave the option. It's much more important than trying to use it, because then you can simply look at the specific point and use it like that. Or simply look near it. It doesn't need to be a specific point, and it isn't, because as you can see, I'm looking through this entire section here, and this is all usable, and this is all usable. This is all usable. All of this is usable that you can look at, and you can make the option selected. And yeah, everything is basically perfect other than that. Other than the little hitboxes on the end, it's all good, basically. It's all perfect. It's all completely adaptable and everything. It's all working properly. And I really don't think people will have issues. I don't think people have issues with it, especially because, like I said, it's more important to get off the text properly than to select the text, because you can always adjust that. But for when you want to get off of the actual option, it should always be that it's at least within the text and not outside of it, because if it's outside of it, people are going to be a bit confused with that, and it's going to be a bit weird trying to leave the menu when the dang thing is, the hitbox is further than the actual text, than what the text actually shows. Like, imagine if it still was active here. That would be weird, because that means that you're not even on the text anymore, but somehow it's active. That makes no sense. So the problem is that's the main problem, and I've hopefully solved that. And like I said, if I do notice it going further, what I'll do is simply lower it again and lower it to 0.66. I'll try 0.66, see if that's perfect. If that's perfect, that means I was correct. That's actually the middle of the range. If that's not perfect, then I'll lower it down to like 0.65 or maybe 0.6 exactly, and see if that works properly. But yeah, I'm done with this for now. I've actually fully completed it now. It all works exactly as I want it to. And exactly as it needs to work, and it works exactly, well, not as I want it to. I say exactly how I want it to. No, it's not exactly how I want it to, but it's definitely exactly as I expect it to work. And it's the closest it's going to be to being perfect. So that's what I'm going to say it's good. That's the reason I'm going to say it's good. Let me do a little look and check around here to be sure all of this is good. Oh, actually, it's all not good. Wait, actually, is it good? Yeah, I think it might be, actually, now that I think about it. Wait. No, it isn't good. I know it's wrong. Wait, is there something wrong? Let me... Yeah, see this option 9? This needs to be changed. So I've removed all of that. And I've also removed the 8 stuff, so obviously that's not going to stay anymore. So yeah, I need to change that to, I think, what is it, option 1? Needs to go all the way down to option 1. Yeah, that needs to go all the way down to option 1. There's nothing that uses the option 1 anymore. All of that stuff is gone. Okay, let's change this to option 1 then. We'll have to test if it works properly. Yeah, it's crazy that I have to default to this, because obviously things are incredibly complicated, but It's okay. I have to. It's perfectly understandable. And it makes perfect sense to keep things efficient and to not make things too overcomplicated. It does make perfect sense. I wish I could get it perfect, but it really isn't going to affect people that much. It really isn't. It's going to be a little bit annoying, and it might be a little bit confusing for some people, but they will normalize to it, especially for how good this preset is. They will be okay with it. The only problem is if competition will try to do better, but it's like, I don't think anyone's gonna choose a preset purely because of the dang. They would have to have multiple things better than mine. So it's like, I don't think people are gonna choose one of the preset purely because of it having better hitboxes on the horizontal. I mean, the hitboxes on mine or on the vertical is perfect, but the horizontal. What's going on here? Oh, wait, there's something off. Oh yeah, I didn't set it there. Okay, yeah. I need to set it here too.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers.
But people aren't gonna choose someone else's preset simply because there's no way. There's basically zero chance they're simply gonna set. They're gonna go to someone else's preset purely because the hitboxes on the side is a little bit off and it's a little bit too little, and it turns off while you're still in the option. It's very unlikely because, like I said, there'd have to be multiple things that are off that are better than my preset. There'd have to be multiple things, and it'd be very minute to actually change to a different preset, because I mean most of the times my preset will simply have more, people will like it more, and there's also that social factor that people will not want to actually change to a different preset simply because of something so small. When people play this preset so much, so yeah, I'm not worried. Okay, it's all good. Let's actually look at the thing now, the option. I think I should be able to look at that. Let's see. Jeez, it's so low. I hate that. I hate that. I hate this so much. That it's all the way at the bottom. Can't actually look if the option variable is much bigger than that. I could look at the inspector though and see what's going on there.
Entering Legion.
Honor is all I have left.
Let me turn on the menu. I guess the only thing is, I guess I could simply save it. No, I'm gonna save it in Chill or Kill. I'm gonna save it there because actually what I'll do is I'll save this into test 3. Yeah, I'll save this into test 3 and then I'll, well, nah. Let's just do it in chiller kill. Let's not make it stupid. Let's do it in chiller kill. Yeah, okay, it's all good. There's no other things to worry about. It's all good. I'm satisfied with it. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in chiller kill now. Yeah, I do have everything already basically saved in test 1, I think. Yeah, in test 1 I already basically have everything saved. So, or at least the old version. That's what I mean, the old version. But I could easily revert it all, so it's perfectly okay. I'm okay with it. Let's save it in chiller kill. There it is. There it is. It's done. But bit less satisfying than I wanted it to be, but it's still satisfying to finally get it done. To finally actually have something that I'm happy with and that it actually works. It does work, and it does work reliably. I'm okay with it. I really am. I'm not going to come back to this. I'm not going to make this better. I'm not going to try to make this better unless it's actually going to be perfect. Unless it's actually going to be less complicated and not have so many different factors to consider and so many things to adjust dynamically in the workshop and everything. I'm not going to overcomplicate this. This needs to be consistent. This needs to be reliable. And it's really not that important to make it absolutely perfect. And this could be very close to that while being way more efficient. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do. That's exactly what I've already done.